Did you know car insurance is racist? Well, this is what Joe Biden said yesterday, out, I guess, on his campaign trail. He was giving this big speech on MLK Day, claiming that car insurance is racist. This according to the IB Times International Business, story by Nandika Vinal Chan. Car insurance is racist as black people pay higher rates than whites, Biden says in his MLK speech. U.S. President Joe Biden believes that people living in minority neighborhoods often pay more for car insurance than their white neighbors. Is this really true? Quote, if you live in one of those neighborhoods, notice he says those neighborhoods, and you have the same exact car I have in the other neighborhood, you pay more for your insurance on that side. No basis for it, not at all, other than you are black and I'm white. Well, how many people know that for years, if you owned a red car, and I think this might still be true, if you owned a red cars tended to cost more with car insurance because red cars tended to get into more accidents, and they were often associated with sports cars. These more sporty vehicles. According to the Consumer Federation of America, the CFA, there is structural racism in auto insurance. This makes state-mandated auto coverage more expensive for African American drivers than white drivers, and in its research, the CFA highlighted that pricing disparities are driven by the use of several socioeconomic factors in premium setting that do not reflect personal driving history, but are proxies for race. Proxies for race. So the CFA has gone woke. Doug Heller, CFA's insurance expert, said when insurers base premium on drivers' socioeconomic status, they are disproportionately targeting African Americans with higher prices. Quote, the companies will insist that they never ask for a customer's race, but if they are serious about confronting systemic racism, it is time they recognize that their pricing tools use proxies for race that make government-required auto insurance more expensive for black Americans. Well, why is the government requiring auto insurance? Shouldn't that be something done at the state level? You know, the government gets way too involved with stuff. They really do. 90% of our problems could be solved if the government stayed out of it. You let the states handle it. It's just, I did this video a while back about this driving safe campaign in New Jersey. And it turns out that it was very effective. It was so effective that they had to put out a public service announcement to ask people to not take pictures of these marker boards on the side of the road or what have you that were tapping into New Jersey culture using like phrases based on a Bruce Springsteen song. And of course, Bruce Springsteen's from New Jersey. So there's an example of a national problem that is being solved at the local level, tapping into New Jersey culture, and they were able to solve this problem. And you have a humorous side effect of this. But the point is, they were able to solve this problem at the local level. Government needs to stay out of it. Instead of coming out here and saying, or the president coming out here and saying, that car insurance is racist with nothing to really back it up, except for some guy at the CFA. Moreover, a 2015 report highlighted, we're going by something that's, how many years old here? Highlighted that zip codes with predominantly African American residents face premiums that are 60% higher than predominantly white zip codes. This reveals that African Americans indeed pay more for auto insurance than white drivers. Insurers argue that the factors are race neutral, but in fact they harm African Americans more than white Americans. As such, the disparate pricing, bring this cold to you, leads to higher levels of uninsured driving among African Americans and higher incidence of state uninsured driving penalties, including fines, vehicle seizure, and jail. Okay, so you admit in this article that you have, unfortunately, in these communities, you have people who are driving uninsured, and they might be getting into more accidents. So because of that, you're going to face a fine, possibly a penalty, maybe jail time if you're a repeat offender. How about we focus on behavior? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem isn't car insurance companies. And I'm not saying here that car insurance companies are necessarily totally innocent. I mean, we know what happened years ago with bank loans. But at some point, you got to take responsibility, right? So what you really got to look at is what's going on in this particular neighborhood compared to that particular neighborhood. Whether it's a white community, black community, Hispanic community, Asian community, I don't care what it is, if there's a lot of crime in that area and you're building a housing project in that area, well, of course, the real estate of that area is going to be lower compared to a, let's say, more wealthy neighborhood where you have lower crime. That's just the reality of it. Why do you think it's so cheap to live in a trailer park? So because of uninsured driving, as it's saying here, these fines, jail time, vehicle seizure, it also means it's reducing the access to jobs, employment, and car ownership, or these being able to afford these policies or what have you. Well, you could take the bus. There's an idea. Foolproof idea. But here's some other articles too. It says, Biden forgets name of Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter-in-law while singing happy birthday as he is met with laughter from audience. Watch, they've got a video of it. And more on these classified documents discovered in Biden's private office as White House remains silent. Classified files with sensitive data found at President Biden's private think tank. So just a quick article for you today at IB Times International Business. Joe Biden says car insurance is racist, and because Joe Biden says so, it must be true. Right? So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. You can also follow me at Instagram, #JasonComposes, because I write music in my spare time. Or find me at Twitter, Cultural Confederacy at Twitter. This is the Cultural Confederacy, where the past crashes with the present. Peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this thing we call the United States, and I'll catch you next time.